after the countdown. Alright, and in 3, 2, 1.
Hello, Transformers fans. It's been a long hiatus, but we are back on AFTERBUZZ TV's Robots in Disguise After Show. We are looking at Season 4, Episode 11, Guilty as Charged. And team, it's time to rev up and roll out.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
I always feel better about a show when I remember my opening.
It's always nice to get, like, things off on the right foot, right?
Yeah, and it's only been, like, what, 4 weeks?
It's been a bit, and I'm not gonna lie, giving up the power of lead host was very difficult for Lady Megatron, but that's how strong our friendship is. I have allowed you to take it back. Because I'm so nice like that.
You're saying that like you didn't lose a fight.
I didn't. I didn't lose a fight.
There was a peaceful cessation of power, believe it or not.
I handed it over to be so nice. You're welcome.
Because she knew I'd hand her her tailpipe if she didn't.
I believe the words you were trying to say are thank you.
No.
You're welcome.
No, Maui, we're done. Yeah, y'all missed us these past few weeks, haven't you? Welcome back to the AFTERBUZZ TV Transformers Robots in Disguise After Show. We are looking at Season 4, Episode 11, Guilty as Charged, which is why we have Bob Seger starting us off.
I love this song.
It is never not a good day to have Bob Seger start you off.
This is so fantastic.
Regardless of the day. Like, just classic rock, ladies and gentlemen, classic rock. With me, I have, of course, Lord Megatron, Megan Salinas.
Hey guys, you guys can tweet at me at the Menguin. That's TheMenguin.
Our wrecker is missing tonight. She had some last-minute business to take care of. You can find her at aTors890. And I am Katie Kia Prime Cullen. You can follow me all over the social medias at Kiaxet. That is Kiaxet. If you have fun things to say, we have a hashtag for Twitter, ABTVRID. We have a live chat, which already has like 10 people in it having fun.
Hey.
Hello, everyone.
We missed you guys.
If you've got fun stuff to say, if you have questions, if you have comments, if you have ridiculous jokes, if you have news articles, whatever, throw them in the hashtag, throw them in the live chat. You may well get a shout out.
Or, of course, my favorite thing's fun gifts.
Oh, fun gifts are my fave. And if you're listening to this not live, you can still put stuff in the hashtag. We do check it from week to week. It's super fun. Do the thing, win the stuff. Yeah, I loved this episode.
Oh my gosh,
this was such a good one to come back on.
So great. Not only was it a strong arm-focused episode, but we got an evil lady bot, which those are always a treat.
Lady bots are rare, full stop.
Lady bots are the best, and not only is it a lady bot, but it's freaking Tank Girl, guys. It's Livewire, and she's in this show.
We were both sitting there going, I recognize that voice.
We know that voice. Why do we know that voice?
Pulls up the wiki page.
Tank Girl!
Also, it turns out individual characters' wiki pages have spoilers, so if you're like us and you're trying to stay completely spoiler-free, don't go diving onto individual characters' wiki pages. It's a mistake.
I learned that the hard way in high school when I was reading this one book, and I was like, I like this character. I'm not gonna look at the plot synopsis, but I'll look at their character bio, and that was bad. Don't do that.
It turns into, oh, they're really plot heavy. I didn't know that. I thought they were background character.
Oh, they don't make it out of this one. Oh, and they have a kid? What?
What the hell were you watching?
That's not important right now.
No, now I need to know.
That's not important
right
now.
No, I really need to know.
That's not
so
important
do our viewers.
right now. No, they don't. Anyway, to
Was
get
it
back
embarrassing?
A little. To get back to this episode.
We have Omega Pulse in chat saying, who from Team Prime do you want to see in Robots in Disguise? Everyone. Like, how is this a question? Everyone.
Well, I've said it more than once this season. I feel very spoiled. I have gotten almost everything I've asked for in one way, shape, or form. I got Ratchet and I got Blur, and so like there's a lot that I've gotten, so I feel greedy saying anybody else. But since we've already had Ratchet, obviously I would either want him to come back or just freaking RC.
RC,
Guys,
my gosh.
I don't know if you noticed, but she was basically the protagonist of Prime, so I feel like she would be the one who I would want to see come back. And I haven't gotten to read it yet, but the issue of the RID comics where Strongarm is just geeking out over meeting RC, I would love to see that animated.
I need that in my life.
For
I
sure.
really do. And I'd like to pass the Bechdel test a little more often.
Windblade's been gone
Generally
for a while.
speaking.
Windblade's been gone for a while, so yeah, it would be nice to have two ladybots who talk about something that's not, you know, a mailbot or Sideswipe or Optimus.
And we passed it in spades
We
this episode.
did, and
despite the fact that Nitra is a terrible person.
That's okay though. Like I like having the spectrum. Again, it's that whole thing where you have more than one female character. They don't have to represent all of womankind.
Yeah, exactly.
You can have somebody like Nitra who maybe started off on the right track. Again,
personality was just never cut out for that
No.
because it sounds like she was a troublemaker from the get-go. She was drag racing. She did all sorts of fun
Honestly,
stuff.
I
And
feel-
then, well, they caught me with an answer key while I was taking a test. You just tell them it's yours. Remember how I saved your life? And so I'm sitting here wondering who initiated the takedown on that wrecker. Because we never hear that. But 10 to 1 odds, it was Nitra.
yeah, she probably picked a fight.
I mean, evidently the wrecker was speeding, but it was probably, hey, we should do the thing. No, I don't think it's a good idea.
You
He's a
think
little
too much
outside of
and jumps right in.
I 10 to 1 odds it was Nitra.
But at the same time, like, I feel like she could have made a very good bounty hunter. Like, had her life been different or had she been given a little bit more direction, she and Strongarm could have been comrades. Like, Strongarm says it herself, like, we were either going to end up best friends or we were going to destroy each other.
See, but I see Nitra, if she had been a bounty hunter, I see her more in a fracture sort of
That's
role
fair.
as opposed to a drift sort of role. Whereas if Strongarm ever went the bounty hunting path, she'd be in the drift sort of role. Like,
Yeah.
honorable, taking you back to face justice, etc., as opposed
I have a
to
code.
the three amigos over there, who I miss.
Yes.
Haven't seen them in a dog's age. Not gonna lie, I miss our classic season 1 villains.
I do too. But
They're in an icebox somewhere.
But again, we get some new ones, and
That's true.
Even for something as cliche as like the lady thief trope, I feel like they played it very well.
They really
I
did.
loved Nitra in this episode, and I would love to see more episodes of her and Strongarm butting heads.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Although Nitra did get taken back to prison, so
that's what breakouts are for.
the hypothetical season 5 is a massive Cybertronian jailbreak,
Oh
and
my
they all
gosh.
wind up back on Earth.
That would be hilarious.
It's like the greatest hits.
It's so funny because it's like they break out and they're like freedom, and then they end up back on Earth. Gosh dang it, we're back on this dirt ball.
It's like last season's mini cons. We were trying so hard to get away from anywhere with Cybertronian activity, and they took us to Earth.
They literally took us to Unicron's corpse.
The planet with literal robot Satan in the middle. Like, we didn't need this. We didn't want this. Here we are.
I didn't ask for this.
I'm too old for this. I'm too traumatized for this. Anyway, yeah, just... And looking at Nitra and looking at their relationship and just the way that Strongarm talks about it, like, we didn't part on the best of terms. I was always getting her into trouble. Like, no, she was getting herself into trouble and trying to drag you in.
Exactly.
It's kind of an abusive friendship.
Honestly,
And it's interesting to watch Nitra just pull her strings.
yeah, and it may very well have been, that sort of dark side of ambition thing of like, obviously they were both very competitive, and that might have been Nitra's way of beating Strongarm.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like, it wasn't just a buddy or like, hey, you scratch my back, I scratch yours. It was definitely like
Dance puppets dance.
You could definitely see it that way of her trying to take Strongarm down a peg, either by bringing Strongarm down to her level by compromising her values, or straight up throwing her under the bus during the hearing in the way that she did.
and guilting her. You owe me, this happened. And then even now, her thinking,
Come on,
well,
you're a goody good. Like, no, you're not going to get in trouble.
Yeah, and even now, Strongarm thinking, well, I was always getting her into trouble. No. She does this to herself.
Yeah,
and then makes you her life preserver, and that's not how friendship works.
Strong arm. You're always getting her into trouble in the same way that you're always getting Sideswipe into trouble, because that's how that works.
That beautiful nerd.
But it's kind of an interesting thing to see this sort of character crop up when we have Strongarm, who idolizes the group that she's with so much. You know, she puts B on this pedestal, that it's interesting to see kind of where she's at with some of her peers.
Well, the fact that she said, "Oh, it's a nickname I don't go by anymore," and Nitra spends the rest of the episode calling her that. Like, it's a name I don't go by anymore. Well, I don't respect your boundaries.
Nope.
Like,
basically red flag right from the get-go. It's like, oh, she's totally evil.
You called it within, like, 3 minutes. I think you called it the second they said, "Oh, yeah, no, I'm a bounty hunter, and one of my former bounties is after me." You immediately went, "Or she is the bounty."
Yep. Well, and we brought this up, but the reason, the tell, so to speak, is I spent a good chunk of the episode trying to figure out who she reminded me of, and not just the voice, not just vocally, but like character-wise. And you actually were the one that pointed it out, and I was like, that's right. She acts a lot like Blur did when Blur was first introduced in Rescue Bots. In that this is somebody who's clearly BSing their way into everyone's good graces, and nothing is their fault. It's all on everybody else's shoulders, and they just have to deal with it. And if you don't deal with it, then you're the bad guy here. And I say that with love because I love Blur.
Well, Blur got better.
Yeah.
And there was no salvage in Nitra's life.
Mm-hmm. No one to
Dual
say, I
meanings there,
forgive
but
you.
nonetheless.
Yeah. There was no one to say, I forgive you, but you need to be better. What you did was wrong. Because
Strongarm was still feeling guilty about this sort of thing, where it's like, I get you with the Catholic guilt stuff. I get you with the lawful good stuff, but this is not your fault.
Well, and the other thing is when she does tell Strongarm what she did, cheating on the exam, Strongarm's answer wasn't, "That's wrong." It was, "That's against regulations. You could get expelled." As opposed to just, "Cheating is wrong.
Yeah.
You did the wrong thing. I'm not going to help you out."
Well, and it's been interesting to watch Strongarm in flashbacks and then from the beginning of the series to here, because she's always been lawful good, but she's gone from emphasis on lawful to emphasis on good. And I love character development like that, where it's kind of quiet and subtle, but you watch it and go, yeah, we've come a long way in 4 seasons.
And talking about that flashback too, it kind of leaves it up in the air as to whether or not Strongarm is actually going to admit, "No, I actually didn't help her, she's lying." I was kind of 50-50 on that, and then when she said, "No, this isn't true, I did no such thing," I was like, that is in keeping with where her character was at this point in time.
Oh, yeah.
Good job, show. Good job, show.
Good job for showing us meaningful flashbacks and still just kind of being like,
and consistent character.
Yeah.
I like it. Consistent character development.
And guys, if you have a friend like Nitra,
they're not your friend.
They're not. They either need a good talking to, or they need to be cut out of your life. Depends on the position you're in, but don't let people pull your strings. Don't let people guilt you into things that you know are wrong. And this is also okay.
Hey kids, we've had a lot of fun here today, but
Sonic says
that's no good.
And I mean, this is a lesson that even watching it as an adult, and somehow I am an adult, going, no, this applies to you regardless of how old you are. So this is a lesson that kids can take away, and this is a lesson that me, nearly 30, sits here and goes, oh yeah, no, that's a really good point. I have absolutely dumped people like that out of my life because I needed to.
Yeah, and what's funny, too, is that, we talk about how, this is a show for kids, and a lot of times media for children kind of gets glossed over
or dumbed down.
Or kind of looked down upon, too. As an adult, there's still a lot of value you can get out of that, because, these are lessons for kids, but sometimes as adults, we need to be reminded of that.
Oh, yeah. And I'd say there's a big difference between sharing is good, and hey, sometimes people who are pretending to be your friends are actually really manipulative. Maybe keep an eye out for that.
Watch out for
Like-
some relationships are built on a foundation of toxicity
and lies. And the thing is, you do need a reminder of that, because I will guarantee you that at least one person watching the show is sitting down going, oh,
I have a
know
friend like that.
I have a friend like that. And then realizing,
Oh, they're not actually my friend.
Oh.
Or
Like, this is the kind of story that needs to be told.
I really like we talked about this ages ago, but talking about how important it is for the media to portray those different types of relationships. Like, seeing the relationship between Mother Gothel and Rapunzel in Tangled helped a lot of people go, oh, I have an unhealthy...
My parents are abusive.
I have an unhealthy relationship with my parents.
And speaking of seeing these different relationships and seeing different types of things, can we talk about Blastwave using sign language?
Oh my gosh! I love him!
That was my favorite part of the episode, hands down. Because we have never had and I will say this and I will explain my reasoning, we have never straight up had a non-verbal bot before. We have had B, but he had a vocal processor that other Cybertronians could understand, and some humans. So it's not like he was never able to speak. It was most of his companions understood him just fine and then rephrased it for the audience.
Yeah.
But the fact that we have a bot that cannot speak, that didn't have a Ratchet in their life who was able to give them a stand-in vocal processor, that we have someone straight up using sign language, and just God bless Will Friedle. God bless Will Friedle, and that bit of emoting and the animation matching it up perfectly, and just that moment of like me and him grabbing his own throat and like, God.
Oh, that
right
hit my heart. That hit my heart.
That was the Prime feels. That was the Robots in Disguise feels. That was a lot of Transformers feels over the years. Holy
Just
hell.
dumped on you in a split second. Speaking of people who send us gifts and talking about Blastwaves, we have Lasergon on Twitter who wrote, Learning CSL 101 with Blastwave. Season 1, Episode 1, telling your friends you're not evil. Yep, we're starting on hard mode right away. And they send us the gif of him signing when he was detained.
But given that we had a multiple planets-wide, planet-destroying civil war for literal millions of years, there are probably definitely signs for I'm not evil and this is my alliance, and like very quickly communicating, hey, no, this is what's up.
Yeah.
And a lot of people probably learn that. And given that B recognizes it and seems to be able to understand it, I bet that he was using it for a while before he got another processor.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
Like, he definitely learned that for a while.
Right after Megatron ripped his throat out, so to speak. Yeah, he probably had to rely on that to communicate for a bit.
Especially since he's a scout.
Oh.
And so I'm sitting here going, okay, does that mean the entire Prime team knows CSL? And also, just imagining all of the kids who were into giant robots watching this and then going, oh, he's like me.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he can't talk either. Mm-hmm. Oh, he can't hear. Or just like, ah! We have an Autobot using sign language as primary mode of communication, and we have our main character Autobot recognizing it and understanding it and being able to speak it, and it's just like representation. Yes.
You slammed your hands on the table really hard.
I did. I am passionate about this.
I just really like this because we were just talking about how gratifying it was looking at the Shape of Water trailer to have a female protagonist who was using ASL. I think ASL, I'm not fluent in anything. Presumably ASL, but how gratifying that was, because again, you don't see that very often. And then literally like 3 days later, this episode drops and it's something for kids. And it's just like, I like where we're going, guys. Please keep it up. Just keep doing the thing because it's important. Yeah, Hashtag representation matters.
Like, we have an Autobot that's nonverbal and using sign language, and I cannot emphasize how amazing that is, because when do you ever see that?
Never.
In kids' media, in shows, in ever.
No.
When do you ever see that? And yeah, he may only show up once in one episode, but he still exists.
He
He's
does.
Still a thing.
He's canon, and not to mention
He's canon.
Not to mention he's got a pretty cool character design too.
Oh my God!
They
yes.
both do. Both he and Nitra. They both have good character design. I like it. I love that she was rocking the purple.
I read this somewhere, and I think it was on Nitra's page that her design is actually one of the prototype strong arm designs. Like that was one of the iterations that they went, well, nah, not this one. Doesn't fit quite as
work
well
for her.
Dig it back up for.
Totally makes sense. Which, by the way, also when Bee had her scan strong arms vehicle mode, I went ahead and said, I was like, she's definitely evil because we have a nega strong arm thing going on right now.
Like a Nemesis Prime.
She's an all purple SUV. Yes, she's evil.
Con colors without ever actually being a con.
Mm-hmm.
And Omega Pulse brings this up in chat. I like that there's a badge for bounty hunters. Where's Drift's badge? I don't know. He keeps it someplace where it can't be stolen. Like, she must be one hell of a pickpocket to not only skirmish with Blastwave, who is kind of an amazing combatant. Like, yeah,
He's
really.
a powerhouse.
That is the word I was looking for. Thank you. He is absolutely that. But to be able to pickpocket him and get away. Like, dang.
Yeah.
But that
well
also
played.
leads to paranoia of birds, which I don't really think you need outside of a Hitchcock movie. So
I don't know. The bird transformers in this series, they can be pretty crafty and conniving.
true, but like pigeons. Like actual small pigeons showing up, and she freaks out and goes, "They're after me! I have to keep moving!" Like, yeah, that is not at all suspicious, honey. Way to be.
Yeah, you're totally not evil.
Nope, not in any capacity. We're just fine. But yeah, way to cue in the kids that it's like, yeah, something's wrong. She might be a little evil. She's kind of paranoid
She's
around
kind of
birds.
picturing her like being caught red-handed and her just doing the Krieger thing from Archer and just going, smoke bomb, and running away.
No one's after you, I promise. Oh, there is someone after you. Never mind.
But maybe it does do well to pay attention to your surroundings, because even though she might have freaked out at the pigeon, Strongarm's not paying attention to a potential pickpocket who's looking to steal her Decepticon hunter.
That's true. Let's talk a little bit about, and this is where I walked into character spoilers, because I definitely went, oh, I don't recognize this name, and clicked the link.
What's his name?
Read the description and then went, oh.
He's dead now. No, I have no idea.
He might be. High test. We have a mini-con who is and him showing up and was like, oh, Strongarm's the only one that still has her Decepticon hunter. Okay, so we're going to have a little bit about, and then the episode was not about this at all.
No.
He tried so hard. And then Nitra freaked out about a pigeon, and everyone left the scene very quickly. And he was just kind of like, I can't catch up with that. Oh, shoot.
Talking about
Scrap.
nonverbal characters, we haven't heard any one of Soundwave's minions speak yet this season.
Although we do have Spiromorph music in chat, and I'm going to read this exactly as they wrote it, saying, can we quickly talk about the poor Minicon? At least you can rest easy knowing he's not a Dark Energon puppet. Megan. Like, all in caps, with the ellipses, you are being called out. I think you broke her. Like, bless you. That was amazing. Straight up called out. They're not little zombie puppets.
I'm sorry.
Are you?
No.
Are you, though?
I'm sorry. Sorry, not sorry.
Sorry.
Not sorry.
Yeah, so poor High Test just could not get the job done. Opens up a ground bridge and Soundwave is like, you will be terminated.
Did he turn into a Dalek since the last time we saw
It's
it?
like a musical Dalek. It's like Deadly Auto-Tune.
will be terminated.
Rebecca Black levels of Deadly Auto-Tune. It's Friday. Gonna kill you on Friday.
He's not a Dalek.
That's all I can do. That's the best I got.
Oh, but that's basically what he says. He's basically like, you knew that the price for failure was being exterminated. Come on back now.
Wait, why are you running?
Wait,
Stop running.
I probably
what was it?
should
Do not flee. Was that what it was? Just straight up, do not flee. I will murder you later. Okay.
It will be more efficient if you just come over here.
And Soundwave just looks at Laserbeak like, why can't they all be like you?
Because there's only one Laserbeak. Aw.
So that's the last we see of High Test this episode. He is in the wind,
but
because he doesn't want to die.
Here's the thing, though: is he going rogue and thus will align himself with our bots, or is he going to try to hightail it off of Earth and just go it alone, or is he going to try to steal the Decepticon hunter anyway to try to appease Soundwave? So in like a please, please, please don't kill me sort of thing. I'm late, but here it is.
I'm betting he is going to go dark. Just get me out of here. I am going to hide until this blows over. Soundwave will eventually send another minicon to get the Decepticon hunter, right? Maybe, I think. So then he'll just kind of forget about me. I'm just going to hide. Like, turns out that freaked out minicons tend not to go to Autobots for help. Because, surprise, Autobots on Cybertron treat them like they're not people.
Well, there's also the possibility that he could get snatched up by by the brain trust that is Motormaster.
That's true. I'm still not over last episode. Wait, you think winning the trophy will make you the actual king of the road? Like, God bless. Decepticons and metaphor. We can't all be artists.
You were not here when we covered that episode because, boy, howdy, did we have fun talking about how they're not the brightest bulbs in the crayon box.
I think I was at a work conference at the time. But Omega Pulse put in chat and then put on Twitter, posted the original concept art from for Robots in Disguise created by Jose Lopez.
Isn't she pretty?
She a beaut.
Yes, she is. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and you can definitely see where Nitra's design came from this.
Yes,
Do
absolutely.
a palette swap and we are good to go.
Yeah, and I love that the shadow is even purple too, so it really is just like, you know, the dark side of being competitive and ambitious and all that other jazz.
The dark side of the law.
Oh,
law! The law! And the law is not mocked. The law is mocked all the time.
Oh, his sideburns. Anyway.
Other post-apocalyptic, war-torn franchise. Yeah. No, I've been getting into the Dread comics, and they are just so messed up.
Oh,
great, but super messed up. I
you
say like I'm
it,
not doing
not you children because it's rated R, but Dread, the one with Carl Urban in it. Oh my gosh, it's so good. It's so good.
I've heard it's a good action movie, but not a good Judge Dredd movie.
I mean, look at the other one.
That's
a discussion for another day.
That's a whole other 80s franchise.
It was a 90s movie. That's a discussion.
The comics have been going on for decades.
That's a discussion for another day. We're talking about this 80s property.
Yeah, this particular 80s property. Just
like I said, I could also see this guy getting snatched up by Motormaster and his crew and being coerced into helping them. I mean, because I don't even know if Motormaster and his crew know that Soundwave is a player at this point. I'm pretty sure
I don't think anyone
does.
knows that Soundwave is a player at this point. Soundwave isn't even on the board.
And
they're playing some form of checkers, and Soundwave is sitting there with his chess pieces going, soon. Hashtag soon.
And then they're like, do you want to play?
Soon.
Do you want to play backgammon? No one plays backgammon.
No. Why would you play backgammon?
I will say that, like, again, I'd be very interested to know how Motormaster's crew ends up, like, what their reaction would be if they found out that Soundwave had things in the works, if they would be like, because their focus is so minuscule compared to, like, kind of the machinations that I imagine Soundwave has going, because they're, like we said, they're not the brightest bulbs in the shed or tools.
They're fun to watch, though.
They're great.
But
So
they
I'm
are
wondering if, like,
extremely small picture.
I'm wondering if them finding out, oh shoot, that guy that was Megatron's right-hand man is gunning for these guys, we need to get as far away as possible, or if they'd be like, no, we called dibs on this planet. You're gonna have to fight us for it.
I feel like they're just really arrogant. Again, we haven't seen a lot of Motormaster aside from deep voice from the shadows, so, you know.
One of these days, right in the grill.
Those two idiots, I love them. I think he'd run over you, back up, and run over you again.
Omega Pulse also put up original concept art for Fix It by Jose Lopez. He's adorable.
He's also blue.
Look at him.
He's
Look at him.
He's a little dead-eyed. I worry about that.
Well, I mean, that's...
Slight dead-eyed stare. That's what happens when you switch brains with your console. And laser gone in the hashtag. That's why I was sitting here laughing silently while you were talking about them, because... Would you rather fight with a giant gun or a giant sword? That's easy, sideswipe. Both. Just the weaponry in this episode, the Windblade name drop, the, hey, we have the weapons from her cache, we break them out when big things go down, the, you are not firing an Energon bazooka on a ship, it'll breach the hull. Like, are we speaking from experience? I feel like we're speaking from experience. I feel like he either did that or witnessed it. I feel like that's a wrecker tactic, actually. I mean, tell me I'm wrong. I'm
sure Bulkhead did it.
And I love this is very dangerous, and we're not trying it at home. It's like, oh my God, you're a dad.
That was some beautiful both lampshading into, like, this is a kid's show, but at the same time, it was B trying his best to be a responsible college student parent.
Like, the college student has now become the dad. He is a dad now. We're all dads now.
You're making Overwatch references that I don't quite understand.
When do I not make Overwatch references? Like, when do I not? And we have Timothy, whose last name I don't think I can pronounce, sorry, in chat saying, I hope the minicon gets found by Hank. That would be a great way for her to find out about the secret alien robots. Hank and High Test, I want that miniseries, and I want it now.
Because they're the two best friends
that anyone could have. Like, yeah, no, I would absolutely watch that. I would love an episode of just them.
Yeah.
And then Hank trying to hide him from Russell because no other humans should know about the giant robots. Whereas Russell absolutely knows about the giant robots.
Plot
and
twist.
is trying to figure out what's going on with Hank.
Plot twist. She's the protagonist in a completely different Transformers series, and she's the one that's flabbergasted trying to keep a secret.
That's where all of our female bots are.
Yes.
Yes.
That's where Alita 1 is. That's where Chromie is. That's where Moonheart is. I'm bringing it back.
Evidently, there's an episode later on this season called Moonbreaker, and we saw that title and just kind of lost our noise.
We laughed. Again, you said it was basic. It's most likely a reference to
it's
the...
absolutely a James Bond reference.
How freaking funny would that be? That would be amazing.
I would lose my mind. Oh my God.
I would die.
And this is kind of what happens when it's just the two of us on this podcast. It stops being an after show and starts being like, we just watched the episode at 10 p.m. Let's talk for an hour.
We kind of have our after show immediately right after we watch the episode.
We really
usually
do. We sit there and talk, and then we polish it up to bring it to you guys.
This is the polished version?
Yeah. Because the only thing in this cup is water.
Point being, again, to bring it back here, I loved the focus on Strong Arm. I love when we highlight our lady bots. I loved Nitra as a villain. I loved the CSL representation. That was amazing.
Yes. Oh my God. And just for Blastwave, for his design, putting the logo in his belt buckle, as it were.
Yeah.
Because I went back and watched the episode again, because I usually watch these at least twice. And yeah, the way that they did the lighting during all the combat scenes, it was just flat yellow. Because I was definitely watching going, okay, are they even going to hint at it? Nope, not until dramatic reveal time. There's no color contrast. It's not in an eye-catching place like most people's logos, shoulder, chest. His is like, belt buckle. Most people are at about that eye level anyway. I'm so tall.
Well, and again, talking about like not so subtle foreshadowing, Nitra's Autobot symbol had that scratch mark through it from the get-go. And that doesn't necessarily mean anything in and of itself, but like, man.
Well, and we got the little explanation about that, about, oh yeah, it was 2 cadets chasing down a wrecker to give him a violation for speeding, and it was, I got this from that. So it worked for the story. It worked for the story in more than one way. It worked for the backstory, and it's, oh yeah, no, I absolutely remember this. And it's also to
intentionally throw off the audience of like, oh, I didn't scratch this out on purpose. This is just how it is now.
I didn't pull a Hungry like the Wolf. This just happened to me. But I never got it repaired, and it makes her hard to track. Hence, Blastwave evidently tracking the bots to find Nitra, because, I follow them, and then, hey, it wins. We're good.
Just this is the good. For all of, us being adults and pretty TV savvy and being able to sort of predict, for all of, like, that for this episode, it more than makes up for in terms of character, performance, animation, and just generally speaking, good themes.
Well, and here's the thing. As adults, having seen so much media, we're at the point where watching a lot of children's media for a younger audience, this is the episode where this is the episode where this. So for Prime, it was like, this is the amnesia episode, this is the episode where they're stuck together. And here, this is the mad scientist episode. This is the, we split one character into 2 and get different aspects of their personality.
The body swap episode.
This is the body swap episode. This is the this. Like, we can sit here and go, it's the this trope episode. But both Prime and Robots are really, really good at turning it on its head. Execution really is everything. And they did it so well here. It's like, yeah, this is the your old friend isn't really your old friend episode, but we're doing it this way. We're doing it this. We're adding High Test. We're adding Blastwave. I'm still
adding Tank Girl.
I'm still so impressed with Blastwave. Like, I'm stuck on that. Oh my gosh. So good. Representation. I promise not to hit the table again.
I also just want Tank Girl in every animated series ever, because she was Livewire back in the day and I adored her.
Yeah, it's just, I need it in my life.
So good.
So yeah, again, execution is everything. This episode was so much fun to watch. It was a ride.
Yep.
All right. Do we have any other messages in the hashtag? Can you pull up iTunes real fast?
Yeah, I can do
pull
that.
Up the iTunes? Yes.
I can pull up the iTunes.
We had someone said a fun thing. A couple people said a couple fun things in chat. Timothy said, "Did we ever see what Blastwave transforms into?" We did not. I would love to know. And we also have Omega Pulse saying, "I want an episode where a Decepticon is just observing Earth life and figuring out how it works." I want it. I want it. I want it.
Yes.
I want it.
Absolutely. Yes.
Like, just, I don't even have words for that. I just want one of those wonderful, ridiculous episodes.
Yes.
Where it's like, how do people? Like the documentary. In much the same way that I want a Love and Monsters style episode that's better than Love and Monsters. Again, execution being everything.
I also want, like, a day in the life of the Decepticons.
A day in the life of, like, Motormaster and them.
Where, like, I really just want to see Breakdown and Knockout go to a drive-in theater. Ultimately, that's what I wanted.
Movies at drive-in theaters. Oh my god. Anyway, that I want a day in the life of one of these mini cons that's working for Soundwave.
Oh
because
gosh, what
think
is
about
that like?
Reframing an episode for that and seeing everything from a mute mini con's point of view. We haven't heard any of them speak.
Nope.
That doesn't mean they can't. That just means we haven't heard it.
Yep.
But yeah, I want to see some of these reframed episodes now. Like, we're in season 4. Let's do this. I say this like season 4 hasn't been in the animation pipeline for literal years. But let's do this. This is what I want. Evidently guys, I think everyone who watches this show has already left reviews on iTunes. Like, I did. It won't let me leave another. I'm sorry. No, we still love you. Yeah, thank you guys so much for everyone who's gone onto iTunes, for everyone who has subscribed to the podcast, who has left us a rating, who has left us a review. You guys are wonderful, and you make us happy at the bottoms of our moon hearts. And when you do that, when you encourage your friends to listen, when they leave reviews, all that fun stuff, when you leave those ratings and reviews, it does a couple of things. The producers at the studio do look at those and say, hey, people like the show about giant robots, and that means that we get to continue doing the show about giant robots, and it's super fun. Also, when you leave high ratings, it bumps us up in the podcast directory. So when people are searching AfterBuzz or Transformers or Robots in Disguise, we show up a little higher on the list and people find us a little easier. So yeah, do the thing, win the stuff. It's super great. We adore you for doing it. Thank you so much. I think we should swing into predictions and then call it a night.
I feel like that's a great idea.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Yay!
I think at this point, because again, I'm not looking at episode summaries, we haven't seen a preview because the Cartoon Network app doesn't believe in those. Yeah, at this point, it's just overarching plot summaries, and I don't think Motormaster and company know that Soundwave is a player in this game, and I am absolutely waiting for the alliance and sudden but inevitable betrayal. Like, I'm absolutely waiting for this.
Oh, gosh,
and now I do
he would
really
crush them.
I really do want Hank to find High Test. Like,
Ooh, that would be
that
great.
is a subplot I really super want.
I kind of feel, well, obviously, like, I feel like a lot of this season is building up to the combiner clash between Motormaster and, and Team B. But at the same time, while they're fighting, I want Soundwave to just come out of nowhere and hit them all, and then they have to work together. Although that doesn't work out because Decepticons are deceitful.
Well, and I've seen rumors, people talking about how there's going to be another combiner in the season.
Maybe.
And if
Maybe
that's-
Soundwave is right at the center of that.
Or orchestrating it.
Ooh.
We do have Soundwave trying to collect all 3 Decepticon hunters for a super special, awesome, shiny prize.
What if Megatronus has one?
God.
Isn't Joe? Because he's not dead, right?
No,
he was just sort
I
of
don't
banished
think
to
he
another
is.
dimension.
We just kind of kicked him out of this dimension.
You get out of here. We're gonna do the Ganondorf thing and just seal you away, and that's the future's problem.
Future Autobot's problem. Oh, like Satan? Because we sure did that with Robot Satan.
Ooh.
Whose name I temporarily forgot right there.
Megatronus?
No, Unicron.
Unicron?
Robot Satan.
You call them both Robot Satan.
I do. They're interchangeable.
No, they're not. They're very different.
One of them is Planet Model, and one of them is Happy Meal Model.
One of them is the literal devil. Is the literal robot devil. And I'm not talking about the Dan Castellaneta one from Futurama.
And the other one was trying to kill the entire population of Earth. Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
But yeah, I kind of have to agree. I feel like we're building up to a big combiner clash, obviously.
I feel like we're building up to several of those.
Yeah.
We are. I don't think we're quite at mid-season yet. I think we're close.
feels like, maybe it's just because the airing schedule has been so inconsistent, but it feels like we should be there. But
I feel like that's because we had a multiple week break smack in the middle of summer. Mm-hmm. Summer break! Like
Yay.
Steven Universe, but not quite as long.
oh.
Anyway, well, I bury that little bit of Cartoon Network themed bitterness. Yeah. Thank you guys for watching. Do you have any final thoughts on this, or
Just that this was great between this and the detective episode. Like, Strong Arm is a strong contender for MVP this season.
This is a beautiful episode. More, please.
Yes.
Just more, please. This was great. Last episode was great. There's been a lot of really, really good episodes this season. Mm-hmm. Like, dang. We have really stepped up our game, and I love it. So, yes. Thank you guys for watching. Where can the people find me?
I'm Megan. You guys can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at TheMenguin. That's TheMenguin. I am also on a bunch of shows here at AfterBuzz, and I write articles for The Movie Chick. That's Chick with 2 Ks. Be sure to check those out. Be sure to also check out the season finale of The Shadow Radio Recreation, where I do the voice of Margot Lane. It's fun.
And I'm Katie Cullen. You can follow me all over the social medias and on YouTube at Kiaxet. That is Kiaxet. A lot of my shows are kind of on hiatus right now. We're kind of hanging out, but we do have Turn for the next 3 weeks.
Yeah.
We are fast
This
approaching.
week, the week after, and the week after that. Yeah.
We are fast approaching series finale for Turn. That is going to be right after this, so that's Tuesdays at 8. Tune in for that. That is going to be super fun. I am also on Gather Your Party on Friday nights on Geek and Sundry. That is twitch.tv/Geek and Sundry. Friday nights at 9:30 p.m. Pacific. We go late now, and it's super fun, and y'all should tune in. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you next time.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Do not flee.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.